The whole ball of wax at LawnpreneurAcademy.com is a $4,000 value, and it's yours for only $1,499. But when you apply the code SPRINGRUSH at checkout, all one word, Spring Rush, we will take another $300 off. That's $4,000 of resources for less than $1,200. This special discount ends April 30th.
You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
We're excited to kick off our second annual Spring Road Tour as we are visiting some of the best-looking shops across the country. Come along as we give you a behind-the-scenes tour of some of the most successful lawn care, landscaping, and hardscaping companies and how they operate their business. This shop tour is brought to you by our great friends at Steel, Equipment Defender, Cujo Yardware, and Yardbook. We know that professionals like you trust and rely on the tools and equipment to make their businesses a success, and our partners mean business. Gear up, lock up, lace up, and line up your business for success in 2023 with the gear and equipment from our tour sponsors. We'll be releasing new Shop Tour podcast and YouTube videos every Monday as we take you across the country highlighting these entrepreneurs' businesses and their incredible shop builds. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It is your host, Brian Fullerton here, hanging with you guys, and good morning. Well, super excited about the upcoming shop tour series and interview that we've got with my man, Logan Manning with Earth Advocate. This is actually a really fun story, a really good podcast. I really enjoyed getting to hang out with Logan and just see his outfit, see his facility, see everything that they have going on and how they're growing year over year. This year doing, I think he shared it, but doing about 800,000 with a ragtag team of guys. And they're great. They're awesome. But I mean, it's just a half dozen of them. And these guys are producing like crazy. It's a really fun podcast, really motivational one for me. And you know, I consider Logan a friend. I get to hang out with him a couple times a year, and we got a bunch of similar and mutual interests, and we're talking watches, and many other things, of course, in between. We both like to eat fat, thick, juicy steaks, which is always great. And any which way, I was able to hang out with him for a handful of hours down in Columbus, Ohio, and it was just cool to catch up with you, Logan. So great job with everything you got going on, man. If you guys want to watch the YouTube video, I invite you guys to check out the Brian's Law Maintenance YouTube channel, 3 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be sharing his whole shop that he recently moved into. On the previous year that we did a shop tour, this is a little redemption story. They actually got the boot a couple months back, and they were like just furloughed. You know, they didn't know where to go or what to do, so they had equipment at a couple different places. It was like Asgard that got nuked, and they were on the spaceship, and they were looking for the new Asgard home. All right, so I'm just trying to give you guys some analogies here, so some of you guys can relate, like nerd like me. In any which way, they found a home base. They got a brand new shop, awesome facility, and they've got some great things going on there, and it's really, really cool to see the growth of the company inwardly, the growth of the company outwardly, and I think you guys are really going to be encouraged by what Logan gets to share on today's show. So check out the YouTube video later tonight if you guys want. Maybe leave an encouraging word, drop a comment, drop a like, whatever you want if you don't mind. Maybe support and help out with the algorithm and all that fun stuff, and provide an encouraging word to Logan. I'm sure he's going to be reading all those comments as well, and it's just great to see what they got going on. So that being said, I want to say a big shout out and thank you to Steel, Equipment Defender, Cujo Yardware, and Yardbook for sponsoring this tour. Actually, this was part of a 5-tour series that I did over the weekend to get 5 shop tours done before baby came, and that takes time, it takes money, and I want to say thank you to the sponsors for making that happen. If you guys want to check out, Cujo Yardware with the Brian's 10, Equipment Defender with the Brian's 10, saves you 10% there, and then, check out any of the great products from Steel, and also if you need a good CRM to manage and grow your business, check out Yardbook. All right, guys, that being said, let's hop on into it here, and let's go hang out with our friend Logan Manning of Earth Advocate down in Columbus, Ohio. What's up, boss?
Oh, just enjoying the day. I appreciate you coming down to hang out.
Dude, for sure, man. We've been cutting up for, I've been here for about 3.5, 4 hours almost, and I think we've pretty much talked about everything life.
Yep.
Life, business, work, investing, money.
Yes.
It's been pretty good.
All the fun stuff.
All the fun stuff, yep, bro. And actually, you were sharing me some music choices, too.
Better believe it.
Benjamin Button. Something like that. What was the rock group?
Breaking Benjamin.
Breaking Benjamin. Breaking Ben Franklin over here. And we're actually just jamming around. And then you were showing me some of your commercial sites, which was actually pretty cool. Some of the condos and HOAs. Mm-hmm. Things are growing, bro.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
Very quickly. So, yeah, things are growing. Like you said, since last time we talked on the podcast, I had shared, I think, at that point what our projections were for the year.
Mm-hmm. Like sixes, I think. Revenue-wise or growth-wise?
Revenue-wise. So it was...
I think you'd made that
We
public.
were trying to do 750 is what our goal was.
Okay.
And we actually surpassed that. So, yep.
This guy, printing money like the Treasury Department.
Pretty excited about that.
So if anybody needs a low-interest loan, right, they call you.
No.
You're in the investing, you know?
I am, but it's all out. Right?
Right. You bought the gal. You got the shop going on.
That's right.
Added employees and labor. It is really, really cool to see the growth.
Yeah, it's very, very exciting. And we're just extremely happy to have, our roots down with the shop now instead of being just multiple places. And
that's awesome.
Which if you go over to Brian's YouTube, you'll be able to see it.
We just got done filming the video. Pretty much one take. I mean, we did a take outside and then one huge like horseshoe take on the inside. Yep. And it's so cool to see what you guys have got going on with consolidating everything. Right. Because last year, if you guys don't know the story, I did the spring tour. I'm like texting and emailing a bunch of buddies. I'm like, hey, can we do this tour? And I'm making it up as we go. And you're like, yeah, dude, come on down. And it wasn't about a month or so before that you guys got the boot from your other place, because did the lady like sell the land or the shop?
It was a little further before that.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what happened. So the shop, it was a big commercial, like 40,000 square foot warehouse.
Oh, okay.
And behind it was another pole barn.
Okay.
Like a 3-bay pole barn. And that's where we were operating out of in Canal Winchester. Well, they sold the big warehouse.
Right.
And so by attrition, we lost our shop space.
That's what it was.
Because they didn't want to continue subleasing to us. And so we were basically homeless. Our company was, at least. But,
yeah.
And so all of our stuff was 3 different locations, just a logistic nightmare. And
it was a fun tour, though.
Yeah, it was still fun. And we made the most of it, had our best year yet.
I don't cancel.
Yeah.
So I was like, Logan, I'm coming. You're like, all right, like we're still in between.
Yeah, I was being apologetic. I'm like,
super fun opportunity. Totally different. But that was a really fun, very relatable story. A lot of guys.
Right.
Because like sometimes in business, it's 4 steps forward, 2 steps back.
Absolutely.
3 steps forward, 4 steps back.
Yeah.
Right. So you guys were like, hey, business is growing. So how did you feel at the time when business is growing even like more than ever, crazy growth, but you're like constricted space-wise, if that makes any sense?
Stressed out.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was just, I've never worked so much in my life, and it was just because it really came down to logistics.
Yeah.
Like
shotgunning around.
Yeah. Just shotgunning around, making sure everything was where it needed to be because it was in multiple places. Just trying to there was no place for us to stage materials or anything. So every job we did was pick up materials that day.
Yep.
So that my guys kept hitting their production goals. That means I was running all the materials.
Okay.
So, running materials all day.
Doing quotes.
Taking care of customers. I still had my own 1-day mow route that I was doing too.
Okay.
Just like a bunch of little properties that I did by myself. And then you get home, at dark, and then you work till midnight, 1 a.m., responding to emails, sending out estimates.
And you got a family too.
Yeah.
You got beautiful wife, Bethany. Yep. And then you got 3 kids, right?
3 kiddos.
That's right. And that's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot to juggle.
Well, and then that's the thing. It's like making sure that I still had time for them, and I was still, my sons play football, and so football practices, football games, and then I've got really good friends who I've had for my whole life, and we still go out together and
social life.
Yeah, social life. And so like managing all of it at the end of the day just meant like I got 0 sleep and
the real story comes out.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Some people think it's just like I was screaming on a podcast recently. I'm like, it doesn't just like happen, folks. I know that sounds like a duh statement.
Right.
But like what people don't always get to see, and it doesn't matter how well we try to document it on YouTube, how well we Instagram story, how many podcasts you listen to. I tell folks all the time, like, if you want to grow, you have to go get it. Like it does not just come to you. No. So like you're over here just beating down the wall, like pounding pavement to just get all this stuff done, to grow, like kind of getting water out of a rock, if you will.
Right.
And doing what you have to do to get to that next level, that next phase, that next season, whatever you want to call it, including, getting to this shop.
Well, and then the thing about social media specifically is nobody wants to show the bad side. So if you even go over to our Instagram and go back to when we were disjointed and stuff, all you see is like the high quality work and the equipment and stuff like that. And so I think it is helpful for guys, because if you just look at that, I would say, like, the guy starting out, he's an owner operator, and he's trying to get enough yards together to pay his bills and stuff. And he looks at, he finds Earth Advocate's Instagram page, and he's, I feel like that could be a discouragement almost.
Sure,
I mean,
sure.
He probably enjoys the pictures, and, there's a great sense of community in the, lawn care Instagram and stuff. But if you're just out there in the heat every single day trying to make ends meet, saying like, I got to make this thing get off the ground.
Right.
And then you see that's all we really want to put out there. So I'm hopeful that seeing, even with a successful business that's growing and good employees and stuff like that,
it's not perfect.
It was still a crapshoot because it just like stuff was everywhere.
Right.
So
right.
That's the real side of things that you don't see very often. You don't see the 1 a.m. sending out estimates, and then you wake up the next day because you were half blitzed from being tired, and you're like, oh, cool. Well, I charged them. We're going to lose money on that. So it's like, I forgot to put the last zero on that 1,000, So, and that's another thing with it too, is like, I'm very happy this year now that we are, we have a home-based operate out of, we have an ops manager this year. He's taken over much more of the operation stuff that I was dealing with. Element, entry, material sourcing, simple things, calling, oops.
Yep.
All these little things that just eat your day, he's able to help with, make sure the crews are rolling. So all of that stuff, is very, very helpful to focus on the business and all of those things that slip, because you can only like wring so much out of yourself.
Right.
So something's going to give somewhere, whether it be your family life, quality time with your kids,
physical health,
which I suffered pretty badly last year from it. We were talking, I lost a ridiculous amount of weight and stuff. So
we were at lunch, and that's something that it's everybody kind of knows but doesn't know, talks about but doesn't talk about. Not to go down this whole mental health route necessarily, but it does take a toll on you physically.
Absolutely.
You can get the stress belly, the gobbler. I got the gobbler right now. I've been working. I'm stressed out tons of times because I'm trying to spin 75 plates like everybody else.
Sure.
And I have a goal to get back in the shape and more in the shape this year. But it was not a goal as much last year. I couldn't. There was just literally, I was like, that's going to have to just take a back burner.
Right.
And we were at lunch talking about stress and pulling your hair out, and you were saying being sluggish or gaining weight or losing weight.
Right.
And that stuff happens.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was I was a stick. When I'm stressed out, I don't like to eat because I feel sick from being stressed and stuff. And then you're working super hard. So I was a stick, man.
Doing the 1 meal a day thing at night, at 8 o'clock.
Dark circles under the eye, just not sleeping well, the whole thing. And we doubled in revenue last year.
That's insane.
In 1 year, completely doubled. So that, and then throwing in life, and then throwing in the shop situation, it was just, it really took a toll on me.
Yeah.
It really did. But it's, the important thing about it is to not know, not focus on the effect it's having on you, but know where you're going with it.
Working on the solution.
Yeah, because you're not going to ever get to the point where you can have an ops manager relax a little bit or focus on refining and growing your business unless you about kill yourself first, so.
Well, I heard a guy say once, he's like, when you shift gears in a manual transmission car, you're redlining the rev limiter. Mm-hmm. And then when you shift gears, you're going to get kind of jerked forward, punched forward. You hit through this pocket, but you have to rev line and red line that thing at 9,000 RPM or 7,000 RPM. And why would it be any different in business when you start transitioning through these different gears or seasons of your company?
Well, I've noticed in personal life, in business, whatever it might be, even working out. Okay. So when you go through the hardest points, at this point, it's just I'm really excited about what's coming because, that's kind of
your breakthrough is coming.
The break, yeah, before you get to that next level. And, if you didn't have the hardships and didn't have like the expensive, lessons that end up being education and stuff like that, you wouldn't have the mental capacity or, the fortitude to get to that next level.
That's good.
So
it's good.
I mean, if you want to take it easy and make, enough to get by, that's very respectable, and you can just manage that. But anytime you're trying to have exponential growth or get to a certain goal, just expect for it to absolutely beat you up first.
The growing pains.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, sir.
It's good, man. I'm taking it in. I'm just looking around because I'm thinking to myself, I've been struggling. I've been paying dues, and like it's all starting to come to fruition this year. Like kind of all at once, like the house, the barn, family's growing, like all at once.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, dude, we haven't slept for 5 years.
Right.
Like dark circles. Yeah. Man, I was getting comments on all my YouTube videos like, Fullerton, you all right? Like dark circles. I had people reaching out behind the scenes. You okay? Like health wise? I'm like, yeah. I'm like,
sleep much, bro?
I'm like, I haven't slept in 5 years, bro. I haven't slept in on a Sunday even in 5 years. And I mean, maybe like on a vacation, one day, one time, something. Sure. But like otherwise, no. And so like what I always tell guys, like I'm your guys' biggest cheerleader. When I see you guys growing, it inspires me to do more. Right. And I know a lot of people are like, Fullerton, love you, man. Changed my business, changed my life. Like, thanks for your content. And I'm like, right. Thank you for letting me be a part of your life. But when I come down here and I see your growth year over year, Liz all the time when I get back home, she goes, how was the tour? Like, how's Logan? How's, Steven, all these different guys. And I'm like, we're freaking losers. We need to get this team, we need to, because I'm just like, oh, you guys red-blooded male. And I'm like, we need to do more. Like, this guy's crushing it. And you try not to play the comparison game.
Sure.
But this guy's 5 years younger and
right.
and or same age and twice the revenue or whatever.
Right.
And so it inspires me to be like, dude, I need to kick some butt. Like, I need to get on the stick.
Right.
And so when to see like you guys are growing your revenue as fast as you are, you have this beautiful shop that you guys have now. It's really, really inspiring, man.
Well, there's always a bigger fish, but you don't know what it took to get there either. I mean,
that's the point.
It's really easy to look at the guy who seems to be successful and, just assume that it was easy for him. But the reality is he's probably still licking wounds,
Yeah.
So I think that introduces Together in the Trades, they talked about the, was it inferiority complex?
Yeah. Close. When you're faking
imposter syndrome,
faking yourself out, imposter syndrome. That's what it was.
Yeah. And so I think that's where it comes from. You compare yourself to other guys instead of just focusing on what you know is right for your business, and then you feel like an imposter because you're like, well, he's the same age as me and he's got, triple the revenue I do.
Right. Or the family, or the girl, or the house.
Yeah, and you just don't know where they came from. You don't know what their backing is. You don't know what they've been through.
Yeah.
So it's easier to get in a headspace, and when you're stressed out and you're tired and you're going through all this crap, it exasperates it so much because
that's the truth.
You're so wore down emotionally and stuff that you start comparing yourself. You're like, what the heck am I doing? You know, better off at Amazon or something. And,
you've thought that thought too?
No. I have not. No, I could never work for somebody.
No. I do understand the sentiment though. It's like, working for somebody else making 50, 80 grand, company car, company truck, whatever, and insurance and a cell phone. I tell my guys all the time, like, don't think it's always just sunshine and rainbows and we're just banking, bricks of gold in the corner.
Right.
Like, we're not exactly there yet. Earth Advocate is. Go work for them, but
not after this winter. I'll tell you.
Dude, this winter was brutal.
It was bad.
Let's do this really quick because I want to talk to, we'll get a little glimpse in the snow, and I want to know how you kind of stomached it because it was a pretty rough winter for the Midwest.
Yeah.
Ohio, Illinois, Pennsylvania, Michigan even. Mm-hmm. But then also, you said something at lunch that I want to ask you a little bit more like to expound upon, which is like, you're a very data-driven dude. None of this, okay, there's fortune and luck and hard work, no doubt, but you're a very analytical, numbers-driven, planned event kind of a guy, right? If that makes sense.
Are you calling me autistic?
No. Melancholy, I think, is the word for it. You might be autistic. I don't know. What? I don't know what that means. I mean, maybe, I guess.
Man.
OCD, OCD, maybe. I don't know.
A little of that, yes.
It's like, you ever see the movie 40-Year-Old Virgin?
Yes.
And he goes to the speed dating round, and he's like, he just stares at the one lady, and she's like, "Are you retarded?" And he's like, "Do you want me to be retarded?" Like the repeater, He's like, all women want you to do is repeat stuff back to them that they say. So she's like, "Dear God, are you retarded?" He goes, "Do you want me to be retarded?" So that's actually one of my go-to lines with my wife.
Back before cancel culture, when stuff was good, right?
Yeah, dude, such a classic movie. But let's do this. I don't know how you transition from that, but let's hear from today's show sponsor. We're gonna take a quick break, and then we're gonna hear a little bit more from Logan Manning here.
Are you ready to take your landscaping business to the next level? Introducing Yardbook, the end-to-end business software that has helped tens of thousands of small businesses get organized and grow. With Yardbook, you'll have everything you need to streamline your operations and boost your bottom line. Say goodbye to manual paperwork and hello to effortless business management. Our software covers all phases of business management, including CRM, lead management, estimation, job scheduling, billing, payments, analytics, and more. Plus, with a strong set of features in the free package, early-stage businesses can get started right away. Yardbook is the trusted source for landscapers who want to save time, increase revenue, and improve customer satisfaction. Don't let your landscaping business fall behind. Give Yardbook a try today.
All right, guys. Well, we're super appreciative of the tour sponsors and all the guys that are making this thing happen. And hopefully this inspires you guys to grow, to win, succeed. By the way, Logan had alluded to it earlier. We just got done doing the YouTube video on the whole shop tour. Mm-hmm. So, guys, check out the Brian's Law Maintenance YouTube channel later tonight. Should be posting around 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. And you can see where these guys are at now. And I'll try to link some of the videos at the end, like those end screens, those cards, where you can see the shop tour from last year, see the year-over-year growth, and then also the Gale skid steer. We did a video on that.
We did, yes.
That video blew up on Facebook, I think it was. YouTube or Facebook, I forget, but really, really cool machine. So before a commercial break, as you said, self-proclaimed autistic.
Before I derailed.
Yeah, I was like, at the break, I was like, I don't know how you recover from that. That's when you guys make me laugh and I don't know what to say next, that makes me laugh. But you were saying at lunch, like you're very data-driven, you're very investment-driven. Like, explain, like what... Some guys, they just throw caution to the wind. They just grow to grow. They're not very intentional. Right. Is a word that I try to use sometimes on the podcast here. So where are you guys at now? Is this like the master plan, 5-8 years in the making? Or where are you guys at on all that?
We're not quite there yet. So my master plan hopefully doesn't end, but
I feel like you need like a cat, like stroking a cat right now, like the evil cat. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like, well, let me tell you.
The master plan.
To take over the world.
is to get to our goals by 45.
Okay.
So by 45, if I don't want to work another day in my life, that's where I want to be able to make that decision.
Cool.
Now, I'm a workaholic, so I probably will, but just to have that option is a big deal to me, and kind of everything we do centers towards that. So what specifically as far as...
business growth.
Business growth, yeah.
Yeah.
So...
Because, I mean, dude, not to interject, but like you doubled again. Mm-hmm. Most guys would be happy with 5, 8, 10%.
Sure.
Especially in this economy right now.
Sure.
Right? So what's the secret sauce?
So we're not growing for the sake of growing. I do have a revenue goal, which by next year, I am pretty confident that we'll hit it. And then at that point, I plan on capping growth for this company.
Okay.
And part of what that will do is allow us to focus on refining our processes and keep pushing our margin up.
Okay.
Me and you were talking on the phone a couple of days ago, mm-hmm. and I had mentioned what we're doing with our properties. So we are, I would say, about 60% where we want to be this year on it. But what we're going to be doing is full implementation of a minimum dollar figure account that we will take on. So we'll actually cut our total number of accounts down by about 40%, but our, topside revenue will increase over even this year.
Okay.
And part of the way that we're able to do that is just through year-on-year relationships, getting into certain portfolios that have the dollar figure that we're looking for. So we do not plan on doing any properties in-house that are less than $28,000, $30,000 value property for the year.
Okay.
And so what that'll allow us to do is really refine our margins. My guys have gotten very good at the specific type of properties that I sell.
Okay.
And then that doesn't mean we're going to dispose of all of the small properties and, properties that are less than that dollar figure. But for the routine maintenance, like weekly mowing and stuff like that, we will be subcontracting all the mowing out.
Okay.
And then just making a percentage off of that. And that adds to your, margin. And then all of the projects and stuff like that to keep my project guys busy, we'll still keep all of that in-house. So all of the mulching, all of the pruning, fertilization, whatever it might be, but the lowest margin aspect of the business, which is the actual mowing of grass, which our margins are still great, don't get me wrong, but it is still the lowest margin. I can make the same margin on it by subcontracting it out and helping out a guy who's up and coming and he's looking for properties, and I can say, yeah, I got 18 properties here and they all pay a minimum of $60 an acre to cut.
Right.
And it's phenomenal for them. And I'm still making the same margin. And then my guys are super focused on $30,000 plus properties. And we just refine our process to where we are really, really set up for that kind of thing and bust them out.
So let me ask you this: why that revenue goal, or is it like a certain amount of mulch, certain amount of landscaping work? Like, am I making sense? Like, why did you pick that size account? Like, what do you mean? So
the $28,000 to $30,000 account plus that we have, the accounts that we have now that fit in that category. They're not cookie cutter, but the only way it's an easily repeatable process.
I know where you're going with this.
Yeah.
I'm teeing it up for you.
Sure.
This is good.
It's an easily repeatable process, predictable revenue, production numbers, less variables than small properties because less revenue if something goes wrong, less margin.
Yep.
And so on the bigger properties like that, I've got 2 in the pipeline coming in next year. That one's about $60,000. The other one's about $75,000. We already have half a dozen $30,000 plus properties.
Cool.
So if we can focus on having 10 to 12 of those, we can knock them out in a week really easy. I don't have to take on oodles more employees. I don't have to buy more trucks. I don't have to buy a bunch of more mowers.
You guys know the plan.
Yeah, exactly. We know the plan. Very little windshield time. All of these properties from where we're sitting right now are 15 minutes or less away.
So great route density, even with bigger sites, which you might have to travel a little bit more for, but you guys are locking them all down with where you're at.
Correct. And then once you're there, you're just there. There's no window time. We just take care of the property.
So can I get and just interject real quick?
Yeah.
Because I totally love what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
This is money. And some of you guys listening in, like your company has sweet spots at different levels for profit, revenue, what you guys can do with your crew, your guys, your equipment.
Right.
And so like a lot of guys, so if you watch my YouTube channel, we do like 20 some commercial sites now, but I actually only film like 6 or 8 of them.
Right.
Because of the YouTube thing, like it's gotten a lot bigger. Right. So now I'm like not trying to blast all of my business.
Sure.
You would have told me that 5 years ago. I'm like, dude, we're a Mickey Mouse little YouTube channel. Nobody will ever care. And I film a couple sites that a couple people know, but now there's guys that are in my market 5 minutes down the road, and I'm buddies with pretty much all of them. But like at the same point, I don't need to be losing accounts, put my stuff on blast, having people cold call and snake in my accounts. So, but that being said, most of our stuff is on snow, for example, it's all 1 and 2 acre, less than 100 foot of sidewalk. Right. Something that one guy could do with one snowblower, 192 truck or a F14 truck can do. We have, $175 to $225 production rates for 1 to 3 inches. Mm-hmm. Just boom, 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 salt and snow, like full service. And they're our bread and butter client. Right. For my size company, $200 to $400,000 company, like that's a perfect little think a strip mall, a gas station, a fast food restaurant, maybe a small hotel, small industrial business.
Right.
And so I'm going to kick this back to you. So the next level up, maybe if you're doing $500,000 to $1 million, it's these 30, 40, 50, 60 grand accounts are perfect for you guys because I would imagine, and fill in the blanks for me, but is it a half day or full day mowing, 20, 30, 40, 50 yard mulch jobs, right. Pruning? Like there's a core amount of business that you guys are used to.
Right.
Is that right?
Yeah. And to your point there, you're focusing on your profit centers. And what I've noticed so far in the industry is your profit centers change and you have to adapt with them or else you'll start, you just start getting ghost money. Like, where is this going and stuff like that.
Right.
And in addition to that, I'd like to add on, like, there's also profitability breaks in your total gross margin. $250,000's a sweet spot because you can do that with 2 guys and
even solo potentially.
Yeah,
landscaping wise.
If you're in the right market and have the right type of clients, and you can make a killing. But take it to 400,000 when you have to bring on the extra employees and the extra equipment and stuff like that,
and your workers' comp,
and you have extra debt load, and your margin actually shrinks even though your top line revenue. But you're getting to the next break, which is around 500,000, and then you're like, oh, my margin's back, and I think the next one is probably close to about 850,000, and then after that you start getting serious increases like 1.5, 3, 5. Like it starts growing in how much of a distance you have to cover to get to that next margin. So your profit centers based on your size, and that's why it's so important. We've heard this 100 times to know your numbers. They're constantly evolving, but if you hone in on it and one of the big mistakes that you make once you've actually gotten like good at what you're doing and, you kind of know the system and you've got a reputation is you start taking on everything and then you lose all your cost control. When you're starting out, you have to do that, of course, but I think it's very important, at least in my experience, that as you grow, you start refining the processes to see like, this is where we're really hitting some serious margin, or we're really killing it. So you focus on that and you turn everybody else away, subcontract, referral, whatever you want to do.
So let me ask this. I mean, practically speaking, we got like a couple minutes left and you actually got to catch a plane before you know it.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes to go up, you got to let go.
Right.
Like some people understand this philosophy. Some people don't. Like for me to grow back in the day, like I had to let go of a whole route. It was like 22 accounts. It was a whole day of work. It just didn't make sense for a business model.
Sure.
I'm like, what? It was 25 minutes away, whole different side of town.
Right.
I didn't know what I didn't know. And I'm like, oh my God. Like I just had an epiphany. I'm like, why am I doing this?
Right.
Got rid of the route, reconsolidated all my work back at home, went from a 5-day, almost 6-day work week down to 5 down to 4. Transformative, right? So like my point is, or my question I should say is, do you get nervous or were you anxious, like pruning these like feeder routes, let's call it, for your company?
Right.
Like, cause you're like, hey, that little HOA, that's $6,000
right.
that you would have killed for, I would imagine 5 years ago.
Absolutely.
Now you're like, yeah, it's not like you're better than it or whatever. It just doesn't fit the mold.
Sure.
So how do you like, and then also how do you manage cash flow? Cause now you got, I don't know, $20,000 a week, $20,000 a month, whatever, in payroll.
Right.
Like, $120 weekly mo sounds good.
Sure.
So how are you, as a business owner, stomaching these different decisions and different thought process that you have to pursue to let go to grow? Because some of those guys, like $120 weekly mo probably doesn't make sense for your company anymore.
We still have a couple of them, but those are the ones that are all getting filtered out.
Sure.
Sure. It doesn't. Even now, it doesn't, but it's a means to an end.
Yep.
A couple of the big properties that are coming on next year are waiting for their multi-year contracts to expire.
Okay.
And then they're going with us.
Okay.
So we still have to,
bridge the gap.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fair.
But
it doesn't fit the model necessarily.
It doesn't fit the model. And so I guess my answer to that would be, when it comes to actually chopping a property, since I am very like numbers analytically driven,
autistic,
it doesn't. Yeah, I'm just kidding, bro. It doesn't bother me at all.
Okay.
It's very clear.
It's a business move.
Very clear business move. But I will tell you what does bother me, and what has actually got me a few times, is I build very good relationships with my clients.
Sure.
This is not a faceless company that just deals with a client, collects a check. Like most of my clients, they've met my kids.
Yep.
I've met their dog.
Yep.
We talk. I know when they're going through things. Like we develop relationships with our clients. Mm-hmm. And that helps a lot on the business side of things, but also when something doesn't fit the mold anymore, it's like, telling your friend you're moving away or something.
Totally, man.
So that's the hard part for me. Not the numbers part. That's easy.
Yep.
But like the relationship. And I still keep in touch with a lot of clients who, we don't do work for anymore because we outgrew and our model doesn't fit.
Yep.
But you'd be surprised with those guys. Like, let's just say they're at a management company. Okay. So, you haven't done work for this guy for 2 years, but you kept in contact. And next thing you know, he gives me a call and he says, and this actually happened. He says, "Hey, I'm working for a new management company now. I'd like you to come look at this huge property."
Wow.
Guess what? It fits your mold again.
Yep.
But you maintain that relationship, even though you couldn't keep the property. It doesn't always go that great. Sometimes people, aren't happy about you moving on, but that's what we strive for. And that's the hard part for me, I'd say.
I love it. That's such gold, man. Like, it's not a faceless company. That's a good nugget. That's a good line.
Right.
What I can relate when I actually let go of that route of 22 customers. Those were like some of the inception of Brian's All Maintenance customers.
Right.
Because Rob's mom was actually one of my foreman's mom was one of my customers. Because, I post on Facebook back in, 2005.
Right.
Brian's All Maintenance is mowing, and she's like, "Hey, we need mowing." And it was 25 minutes away. And I was like, "Oh, sure." I had no clue about route density.
Right.
But I had them for 12, 13 years. And I was like, dude, these are like the core people. Like, I felt like a jerk, letting them go.
Some of them, when you're just year after year like that, they become almost like extended family in some ways.
Barbecues, graduations.
Yeah.
I've seen their kids go from diapers, to 14, 15, 16 years old.
Right.
Now they're driving.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I remember little man running around buck naked in the backyard,
Sure.
wanting to mow with the guys. And it is a tough, because you're almost like, who am I to let them go? They're the ones that got me here.
Right.
And now I'm too good for them. Like, no, if it's not 30 grand and 40 yards of mulch, PO,
That's that's
tough.
That's the rabbit trail that gets me sometimes. But when it comes down to the numbers of it, it's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah.
But I am excited about the next evolution of the business because we can still maintain the relationships with those clients, and I can help local guys who are getting started out.
That's cool.
By giving them that properties that I know are already great on the numbers. We already have the data for.
Yep.
And we know they pay. So, he doesn't have to worry about getting a new client out here and then, I don't know if they're going to pay or not because, we already have done that work. If they don't pay, we've already fired them. And if they do pay, then that's why you're subcontracting. So
solid.
Yeah. So I'm really excited about that. I think it'll be another layer of maintaining relationships beyond just a, email or a text every now and then, just like, "Hey, how you guys been? I haven't talked to you in a few months."
Yeah.
We still work with them. We're still on site. My quality control girl, Lauren is still there. They still see our trucks and stuff, but we're removing the aspect of the business, or the aspect from the business that doesn't fit our model anymore.
Makes sense.
So I think it's a win-win. It just, it's going to be very exciting.
Well, we'll be back in 12 months, get the 12-month recap.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
I love it.
You have I don't know. Like you said, you used the word autistic. I'm like, that's probably not the right word to use. But
the only reason I say that is because my wife makes fun of me sometimes because I'll geek out over numbers. I'll just be like, I'll be in the zone talking about it, and she'll be like,
you're like
just looking at me like, are you
like Matt Damon with the chalkboard in the hallway or whatever, was that a Goodwill Hunting or something? But no, you have a side bet with me, by the way. We won't make it public, but you're like, hey, you call me, you're like, hey, you're into some things that I'm into. If I hit revenue goals, you want to go spend some money? And I said, I'm a good friend if you want to call for that.
Yeah.
And so, any which way, you got like a 2023 wager against yourself, and
Yes,
you and the crew and the team are working hard. It's just a fun, stupid, selfish goal, but you gotta have something to work for.
Absolutely.
I'm rooting for you.
Thank you.
I'm there with you. So whatever you get, I'm getting too. So I told Liz, she goes, how does that make any sense? She goes, he's going to go make money and do some different stuff with his company, and then you're going to buy something too. I go, yeah. I said, that's good friends.
That's right.
That's good friends. Mike Garvey knows what I'm talking about.
That's part of the motivation.
I'm here. I'm here to help you hit your goals. So anyway, I hope you guys do. I know you will. It's been cool to see the growth. I mean, I'm following along on IG. I follow you guys, you and Bethany. You guys are great people. That's all I really got today. Anything else you want to leave these guys while we got you? But dude, appreciate all the update, the tour, the hospitality. You gave me a hat, went to lunch. I bought because you lost that rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah, I did.
Just making it public. I gave him a shot. He's like, you're going to buy my food. I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, you're hosting me, but I got to take care of you.
I appreciate that. You drove down here, take the time out of your day, and then you buy me a filet mignon. I mean, come on.
That's a good friend.
People who say you aren't genuine, I mean, I'll fist fight them.
There you go. Oh, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. No, where can people find you, man? And we'll button up. I don't want to be an expensive first date. You get a lot going on tonight still.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited.
There you go.
So on Instagram, just at Earth Advocate Ohio.
Cool.
Facebook as well.
Yeah.
And then earthadvocateohio.com for our website. Leave a good review.
Yeah.
And you can check out our crew. You can check out some of our work services we offer.
Yeah.
And, you're
active too, by the way. Like if people got questions in the commercial land clearing, you guys do a lot of, what do you call it, dirt work?
Yeah, we're doing a lot of that.
You get that gal.
Yeah.
You guys are crushing it. So
yeah, I mean, that being said, if guys do want to reach out, like I'm no guru, don't get me wrong, but I'd be happy to tell you my experience with things if anybody has questions. And if I don't know, I'll be honest and say, I have no clue, man.
Amen to that. Yeah.
Call Brian.
Yeah, right. I'll say call Mulder.
Right, exactly. He'll say call Almond.
Yeah, right. Something like that. And Kale would be like, yeah, $99 an hour.
Exactly.
I'm totally kidding.
The solution.
Right. No, that's cool, man. Well, again, thank you for everything. Keep the hammer down. And we're rooting for you in 2023, bro.
I appreciate that.
All right, guys. Well, hopefully you enjoyed that podcast episode with Logan. Always a good time getting to catch up with him. And again, a lot of great laughs. And it's really cool, like I said earlier, just to see the growth that these guys have had. And really, I can relate with Logan on many different levels, including business, and especially where they've been skating to the puck the last 3 or 4 years, getting into more commercial work, HOA work, a lot more landscaping, land work, dirt work, really encouraging stuff, really motivational stuff. And I was picking his brain like crazy behind the scenes, asking him how it's going. And it's going really, really well. And he's humble about it, but nonetheless, they have it going on, and I'm really excited for them. That being said, also really excited and thankful for the opportunity to go down there. And that's not cheap. It's not free. Hundreds of dollars in hotels, flights, plane tickets, all that stuff. So I want to just say, again, a big thank you to Steel Equipment Defender, Cujo Yardware, and Yardbook for being spring tour sponsors. We've got some great videos on a lot of their products and services as well on the YouTube channel that we're going to be doing in addition to the shop tours. So make sure you guys check those out, especially if you want to learn to get the best work gear with Cujo, the best trailer racks with Equipment Defender, a great CRM, Yardbook, and of course, if you guys need any of the great products and hand tools from Steel, I encourage you guys to check those out as well. All right, guys, well, over and out from this episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Let's kick it back over to Marty, Mr. Producer, and we will catch up with you guys here on the next one.
When it comes to managing your landscaping business, you need a software solution you can trust. Look no further than Yardbook, the end-to-end software trusted by over 20,000 businesses in the landscaping industry. With Yardbook, you'll benefit from a platform that has already scheduled millions of jobs and processed millions of invoices. But that's not all. Yardbook is also renowned for its minimal downtime and user-friendly interface. And thanks to Yardbook's commitment to rapid innovation based on user feedback, you'll always have access to the latest features and enhancements to help you stay ahead of the curve. Ready to experience the power of Yardbook for yourself? Sign up today and discover why so many businesses in the landscaping industry rely on Yardbook to manage their operations. Hi, I'm Mr. Producer, and one more thing. If you're looking to stay up to date with the latest trends and insights in the world of lawn care, then you need our free email newsletter. It's delivered 3 times a week and includes a Monday motivational to kick off your week, a Wednesday what's new to keep you informed, and a Friday weekly recap of all the content we put out. Join our mailing list to stay connected to the world of lawn care and get exclusive access to the latest and greatest from Fullerton Unfiltered and Brian's Lawn Maintenance. Don't miss out on this opportunity to stay ahead of the curve and elevate your lawn care game. Sign up now with the link we've provided in the show description.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.